opponent to make a
Alright, welcome to Mana Drained. This is episode 24. My name's Max Bordian. I'm Joe. This is my son Eli. How are you doing, buddy? Good? You're doing good? That's good to hear. What have you been up to lately? Working at school? Okay, working at school. Okay, what are you working on at school?
Bugs.
Bugs? What kind of bugs are you talking about at school?
Spiders.
Ooh, spiders. Oh no. Oh, so are you guys reading books in class about spiders?
What's happening?
And bats. Those are two interesting animals to read at the same time. Cool, dude. Well, that's exciting. So, so for everybody out there that doesn't know, what grade are you in?
It's ebb and its flow. So I
You're
ordered my
talking to the
stone
microphone,
soldier to
First
obliterate the
grade.
moon, causing
First
the ocean's
grade, huh?
tides to reverse and
What we're
recede.
talking about, yes. Sit that way so we can face the camera so they can see.
My stone soldier has
So,
reached
you're in
all
first
your sea
grade, huh?
monsters who
Talking
have
about
no ocean
bugs,
left. No,
spiders,
my precious
and
fish. And
bats,
now I'll
huh?
deliver the final blow.
What's your favorite between the two?
I combine my curse of
You like
dragon
spiders?
card with the magic of the
That's-
burning
that's
land
cool.
card to
you know
wipe
anybody
out
that
your
doesn't like
remaining life
spiders?
points.
Poppy doesn't like spiders. Oh no.
Burning
Not
land attack.
Alright, so what is Mana Drained? Mana Drained is a podcast that we started about a little over a year ago, talking about magic cards, Magic the Gathering.
Destroying your own
It's kind of evolved a little bit over time and stuff like that, but we're still talking about Magic. We built a deck that, well, you and I have built a deck together. We're going to talk about that. It's our Dino deck. It's gone through some minor iterations. I took it to Friday Night Magic, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. I won 1 out of 4 games. It was kind of rough, but that's okay. It's all right. It's all right. We won against vampires. We did not win against the 2 red decks, and then one of a green. There was a blue-black control deck. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what are we gonna do first?
Open packs.
Yeah, talking to your microphone. They can't hear you.
Open packs.
Open packs. Okay, so we got two packs of Ixalan here that we're gonna open. You want to open yours up first?
No, you can go.
How about you go first?
No, you.
Okay. All right. So I'll go first. We've got. I'm gonna try and pull these cards up on screen in real time. Oh no, it's Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. No, come on, card display. There we go. That's what we wanted. All right, so I'm gonna try and pull these up in real time. We'll see how well this goes. This is when you don't have an engineer, a video engineer, or a podcast engineer. This is kind of what you're limited to. So we have Bishop's Soldier first. So let's pull that one up first. So Bishop's Soldier is 1 white, 1 generic, 2/2 with lifelink. Not too bad. It's a common. Not too bad, right?
Yeah.
It's a vampire, which is
He could go in mommy's vampire deck.
Right, absolutely. He could go in mommy's vampire deck. Why do you think he's good? What is he? Do you remember what he does?
Lifelink.
Lifelink? Do you remember what lifelink is?
Nope.
Yeah, you do. We talked about this. We talked about this last time. What is
Ooh,
when it deals damage, what happens? There's a keyword in there. It says life. What happens to your life when he does damage?
get more life.
You get more life, yeah. So how much damage does he do?
2.
Right. So his first number at the bottom right corner is his power. That's how much damage he does. So if he attacks and he hits the opponent, he deals 2 damage. Since he dealt the 2 damage, you gain 2 life. Now if they block, right, he's still going to deal the 2 damage. So you're still going to gain the 2 life. So that's not a too bad a card, and it's only costs 2 mana. So that's,
It's like a 2/2 with like 2 mana.
Yeah, that's not a bad card. Not a bad card. Next up we have March of the Drowned. This is 1 black sorcery, and you get to choose one. So you get to pick whatever you want to do, right? So you get to A, option 1, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Right? So that could be any type of creature card. That could be a zombie, that could be a pirate, that can be a dinosaur.
That can be...
What's this guy? Do you remember what that guy is?
Vampire.
Yeah, it could be a vampire. It could be anything you want. It goes from your graveyard.
One of those flower dude things.
One of those flower dude things? What flower dude things?
Like that, flower, like man thing, like
Flower man. Oh, the Merfolk.
yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it could be the Merfolk. Yeah, it could be one of them. It could be anything. But the reason why this is actually a good card and why you'd want to play it in a pirate deck is the second option is you can return up to 2 target pirates cards from your graveyard to your
Maybe
hand.
that stealing pirate.
Right, that's the red pirate that steals other creatures. Right, so if that guy's in your graveyard, you can return him to your hand. Likewise, if you have him and another pirate, you can return both of them to your hand with this one black mana card. That's pretty cool. Not too bad. The next card is Ryle, and that is 1 red. And Ryle says it's a sorcery, so you can only play it during your turn, right? You can only play it during your main phase, one of your main phases, before you go to combat and after you go to combat. But what Ryle does is it deals 1 damage to target creature you control, which kind of sounds bad, right? So why would you want to deal 1 damage to your creature? Do you remember? Some creatures do things when they get dealt damage.
Oh yeah, like that land guy.
Right, it lets you search for a land. The dinosaur that lets you search for a land. That's pretty good. So whenever he gets dealt damage, you get to look through your deck and try and find a land. That's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Cool. But this does more than that. This isn't just to ping your guys, right? This is way more than that. So not only do you deal 1 damage to your creature you control, that creature also gains trample until end of turn. So do you remember? I don't know if we talked a lot about trample. Do you remember what trample does? Okay. Well, trample is when. So let's say I have a 2/2. A 2/2 that has trample on it, right? And you. Well, I'm making this card up. I don't really have a 2/2 that has trample, but I'm saying if I had a 2/2 that has trample, okay, 2/2 trample, and you block with a 1/1, right? If the card didn't have trample, the 1/1 would stop the 2/2. No damage would go to the player. It would just kill the 1/1. The 2/2 would still be alive because the 1/1 deals 1 damage to the 2/2's defense, right? So no damage would be dealt to the player, right?
Yes.
So correct, no damage. But trample allows your creature to any left unblocked damage would go to the player. Therefore, when you block with your 1/1, my 1/1 or my 2/2 would kill your 1/1, and the additional damage that you didn't block because your 1/1 only has 1 defense. That 1 damage would go to you. So the damage carries over. So in order to stop that damage, you'd have to block with something with the second number 2 or higher. See? So that's not a bad card, right? So 1 damage, get to trigger what you were talking about before was your enrage ability. Okay? And then on top of that,
Just like this vampire too.
right, it's a 2/2. Yeah, exactly. So you could block that one against my 2/2 with trample, and you wouldn't be dealt any damage. So on top of that, this card also replaces itself. It also has the magic phrase "draw a card." So that's why, and we got 4 copies in our deck, right? It deals 1 damage, triggers our enrage. We get to draw a card, search for a land, whatever. Gives our creature trample, and we get to draw a card. So that's a good card, right? Sorcery speed. So that is Ryle. Our next card is Shining Aerosaur. So this is, how much does he
I'm
cost?
sure I know exactly where our little
one
escapee is
white
heading.
and 4 of anything.
Right, and what does he have? He has a really good ability.
Flying.
Flying, very good. What's his? Oh, go ahead and get it.
Passed since the dueling
You're good.
contest
You're good.
began.
Leave it on. Just bend over and go.
12 of the participants have been eliminated.
So he's a
Those
3/4.
that were defeated and
Alright.
lost their star chips are being removed from the island by vote.
And what of Yugi
Sit back up here. Why don't you set that down so you can
Yugimoto has
focus?
to date gained
So-
5 star chips.
So he's a 3/4 with flying for
Expected no
5
less.
mana.
He is determined
Right?
to work his way
He's
up in
pretty
the
good.
standings.
He's
in
pretty
order to
good.
gain
Why is he
entry
good?
to
Why
our
do you like
castle.
him?
Because he has
exactly what I
flying
want
and
little
his
Yugi
Why
to
is flying
do.
good?
We'll just
Because,
keep our spy cams trained on
the
our
other
star
creatures
duelist.
can't
Sooner or
block.
later, the little
What do the other
runaway
creatures
prisoner
have
will
to have to
confront
block
Yugi for reasons of his
reach.
own.
Very. Oh my God! Really? I am surprised you said that. You know why? I thought for sure you would say flying. But you're right. You're absolutely right. They have to have reach or flying to block this guy.
Wow, Yugi.
Very good. I'm impressed. You just impressed me. Very good.
There's a Merfolk.
There's a Merfolk. So, Shining Aerosaur, not too bad. I mean, 3/4 in limit is good for 5 mana. It's a little on the pricier side, but flying does make it a much stronger card. So the next card we have is, come on, open it up. There we go. River Herald's Boon. This is, how much does this cost?
This costs 1 green and 1 of anything.
Very good. So, sit up for a second. Kind of off camera. There you go. So 1 green, 1 anything, instant. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and a 1/1 counter on target, on up to 1 target Merfolk. So that's pretty good, right?
But why would you 1/1 on your opponent's guys?
Well, you wouldn't necessarily do that. You wouldn't. I mean, there's not in this set. You wouldn't want to. I do know there was a couple cards. I'm trying to think what cards it. Oh man, there were a couple cards in one of the past few blocks that dealt with +1/+1 counters to the point where it was like destroy target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. So you would, if you had to do that, you could. But this is really to pump your own guys up. So it's not meant to pump someone else's guys up. So it's not too bad. It's at instant speed, which means you can do it during your opponent's turn. So like if they attack and you have a Merfolk out, you can make your Merfolk +2/+2 because you can target it with the first +1/+1 counter, and then you could target it with the second +1/+1 counter. So maybe you could surprise them.
Pirates
Scooch up.
Pirates
So,
next.
so yeah, we've got a pirate next. It's Properous Pirates. This is when it enters the battlefield, create 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens, and you can tap and sacrifice those tokens to add 1 mana of any color. It's a 3/4. It's a 3/4.
Can I say how much?
Oh yeah, how much does it cost? That's
1 blue and 4 of anything.
yeah, it's all right. I mean, in a pirate deck, not too bad.
Just like the bird thing.
Yep, it's a 3/4. Just yeah, you're right. Just like the bird thing.
It's the same health
Talking to the microphone, bud.
and the same
Casting cost.
cost.
Yeah,
But it's a different
it's got a different ability. Yeah,
and
Off the big guy.
different.
you gotta make sure you're talking to the mic. Let's pull these closer.
Pirates,
Quit squirming.
blue, and
You heard him,
the
Needlehead.
bird.
The kid
The
down.
dinosaur.
What do you
Make
think
sure you're talking to your
doing?
mic because they can't hear you if you're not talking into it.
Business. This duelist lost his
All right. So the next card we have is is not really a favorite, but it's a classic. It's been around for a while. It's Cancel. How much does Cancel cost?
I don't care what lame excuse you have, kid. You need star
2
chips to
blue
do
and
your
1 of
domination.
anything.
There you go. It's an instant. It says counter target spell.
Those are my
So
orders from
all it does
Pegasus
is
himself.
counter a spell that your opponent's played. That's all it does, right? It's a good old-fashioned counter spell. You'll play it in limited, but pretty much from there on out, you won't play it in anything else. So the next card,
Next is Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. How much does he cost?
He costs 2
I didn't even get a chance to
green and 4 of anything.
2 of green and 4 of anything. Oh man.
Again.
What did the guy who
Okay,
stole
how
your
big is he?
starships look like?
6'6".
Well, I couldn't see his face.
6'6", huh?
Covered with a
That's not
bandana.
bad.
But he was a little
And he's got
guy
trample.
and he challenged me in the
Trample.
meadow. He
We just
challenged
learned
you
what
to a
trample
Duel
does. What does
Monsters
trample do?
game?
Do you remember?
Yeah, but as soon as I put my starships in Duel Monsters deck
What if I block with this 2? What if you attack me with this, with your 6'6", and I block with my 2-2? What happens?
Leaves in
What
exactly
happens?
30 minutes. Anyone without a starship ships out.
Then we'll get his chips back by that
You remember?
time.
We won't let you bully him out of the game.
Deal 6
Nope.
damage to
We'll
my
catch
2,
that little
right?
thief and bring him to justice.
So my guy's gonna
Believe
die.
me, kid, you can count on us to track him down
And
get
you
those
I blocked
starships
2
back.
damage.
But
So
who
how?
are
What's
you
6
guys?
minus
We're
2?
the guys that are gonna save your chips. Don't worry, you got the brilliant mind of
4.
Joey Wheeler
4.
in the
So
case,
there's
and
4
I
damage
always
that's
get my
left over.
man.
Where's that 4 damage
Even if
go?
he's just a kid.
Yep, very good. Deals me 4 damage. That's what trample
what's
is.
your brilliant
That's awesome.
mind telling you now,
Not a bad
Sugar?
card. Kind of good. It's kind of your top end. Your your quote unquote finishers and limited.
Yeah, it was my finisher. One of those games.
Oh, when we played 2-headed giant, yeah, we had 2 of those, I think. The next card is Hijack. Hijack is kind of interesting. This is kind of like the pirate that you played that steals creatures. Only this steals creatures on its own for one.
That's the same character.
Oh yeah, it is the same character. So this steals creatures till the end of turn, right? So you've got for red and 1 of anything sorcery. Gain control of target artifact. Nope, it's not a creature. It's a picture of a creature. So you gain control of target artifact or creature until end of turn. You get to untap it, and it gains haste until end of turn. So that's pretty good, right? Not too bad. Try to get through these a little bit quicker. Next one is Contract Killing. How much does that cost?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Do you think it has something
Sorry,
to
go
do
ahead.
with his
Black
Millennium Puzzle?
and 3 of anything.
Okay. We didn't play with this one in previous because we didn't play black until the very end. But this one says destroy target creature. Then you get to create 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens that sacrifice to add mana to your mana pool. So that's not bad, right? It gets rid of a creature. It's it's black. It's kind of what black does, and then you get to ramp into your next spell, which is next turn. It's not that bad, right?
Hey, so
All right.
small.
Next card.
I can see from here that that kid's gonna get his butt
Nope, I've got a couple more
Maybe,
here, so we're
but
gonna
Yuki
keep
should
going all the way
hurry
through.
if
We're
he
almost
plans
done.
to get those
So the
starships
uncommons:
back to the
Dinosaur
Olympic
Stampede.
Don't worry,
It's 1
Tristan.
red, 2
We'll win
generic,
the chips and we'll be
instant,
back at the dock with time to
and
spare.
it does the following:
This is
attacking
the
creature gets
Now you're gonna
+2,
pay
+0
for it,
until end of
my big
turn,
brother.
and then dinosaurs you control
Seto,
gain trample
you gotta leave now if
until
you're
end of
gonna
turn.
make the boat for the big tournament at Duelist Kingdom. Seto, open the door.
There's some other weird sound.
Seto,
I'm not
I
going.
wonder what the
Mokuba.
weird sound is.
not going? Why not?
It's probably this microphone.
What do you mean, no point?
Kid, I am
Oh,
in
you
no
know
condition
what?
to duel
I know.
anyone.
What do you...
How about now? It's probably gone now. That's my fault.
Let's start all over.
No, we're not going to start all over. It's gone. It's for some reason they switched the on the main page of Twitch. They always have a stream always going, like a sponsored stream or whatever. And it used to be when you go to their website, it was muted. So I never have a problem with it, but I always forget it's not muted now, and we can't hear what's on the computer. Okay, put your headphones back on. Yep. All right, there we go. Thank you. All right, so the next card we have is Slice and Twine. So Slice and Twine, how much does that cost?
2 green and 2 of anything.
Yep, so this is a pretty generic card. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then draw a card. Nothing really big, right? It's Yeah, I mean, in limited, you'll put it in your sideboard if you come across someone that has a lot of artifacts or enchantments. There's a couple enchantments in this set that you actually would want to kill. Just because the one that we faced against, whenever we discard a card, we take damage. That was definitely one that you want to get rid of as quickly as possible.
I tried
So-
to beat it.
You tried to beat it.
Or try and get on our side.
Right. This next card's interesting. It's Deathless Ancient. How much does it cost?
2 black and 4 of anything.
Yep. And it's a vampire. It's got flying. What's its power and toughness?
4/4.
4/4. Very good. So it also has this special ability that you can tap 3 untapped vampires.
Flying.
Well, it has flying. We said that, yeah. So it has another ability. So you can tap 3 untapped vampires you control, and you can return this from your graveyard to your hand. So if you played it and somehow they killed it, let's say maybe they used the contract killing card to destroy target creature, it goes to your graveyard, right? Anytime during the game, you can tap 3 of your vampires and bring it back into play.
Maybe 2, like
Well-
one turn they did 3, and then the next turn they did 3.
Possibly. Now they have to be vampires that you tap. So like, you remember our 2/2? If we had 3 of those, we could tap those, and it would go from your graveyard to your hand, and you could play it the next turn. Right? So that's kind of fun.
Is that it?
Nope, I've got 2 more cards. So the next card is Shape. This is a hard one to say. Shaper's Sanctuary. Oops, that's the wrong card. Huh. So Shaper's Sanctuary. How much does that cost?
That kind of cost 1 green.
1 green. It's an enchantment, and it simply says whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability.
That's your special one.
That's my special one. Oh, we'll get there. Whenever your creatures become target of spell or ability an opponent controls, you get to draw a card. So that's not too bad. That was our rare. That's not too bad. All right.
My deck.
All right, go ahead and crack open your pack, and let's see what you gotta give me time to pull these cards up while you're. What'd you get? Did you anything good? Here, sit up. Make sure you sit up. There you go. Let's see. What's the first card you got? Hold it here. I'll hold it so I can find it on the screen. So the first card is called Queen's Commission. How much does that cost?
That cost 1 white and 2 of anything.
Right, very good. It's a sorcery, and it says create 2 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink. Well, that's not too bad, right? That goes along with you if you put that in the black deck with your Deathless Ancient. That creates 2 vampires that you can tap to bring them back to the back to play. Back to your hand. What's your next card? Let's see here. What's this one? How much does this cost? This is Skullduggery. It's a fun card. How much does Skullduggery cost?
1 black.
1 black. Okay, and it's an instant. Look here. So it's an instant. It says until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1, and target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1. So that's a fun card. Gives you a little bit of leeway with your creatures and how they can attack and defend depending on what your opponent has. What else you got over there? Give me another one. You got Ryle. We talked about Ryle already. Deals 1 damage, sorcery speed to a creature you control, and that creature gets trample until end of turn, and then the magic words draw a card. What else you got? Dark Nourishment. How much does that cost?
1 black and 4 of anything.
1 black and 4 of anything. And that's an instant, right? Instant. And it deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. It's a good limited card. That's about as far as that'll go. So.
Here's my rare.
Oh, okay. We got Dragon Skull Summit.
Wait, let me see that again.
Yep, this is a reprint with new art. So, Dragon Skull Summit is a land. Comes into play tapped unless you control a swamp or a mountain. So if you play it on turn 1, it's going to come into play tapped. But if you control on turn 2, let's say on turn 1 you play a swamp, and then on turn 2 you play this, you can tap this for red or black mana. So if you've got like, it's a good card if you're playing red and black, or if you're splashing for one of those colors, like if you've got a third color in your deck. So what else you got in there? So since you jumped right to the rare, okay, Hijacked. We talked about Hijack already, right? Hijack is the 3, 2 red and 1 generic, gain control of target creature or artifact. Untap it, it gains haste until end of turn, so you can steal somebody's awesome card and then attack them with it. What else did you get? Let's see here. Imperial Lancer. What's Imperial Lancer?
1 white.
One white. Anything else? It's a creature. What's its power and toughness?
1/1.
It's a 1/1. Now he actually gets double strike as long as you control a dinosaur. So that's not too bad. What else did you get? Let's see. This is Water Trap Weaver. What does he cost?
He costs 1 blue and 2 of anything.
Okay. And how much? What's his power and toughness?
It's a 2/2.
Okay. And when he enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, which is pretty good. I mean, for a 2/2 for 3, tapping down one of their guys, that's powerful. I mean, it's not until this guy leaves play, so it's not going to control the creature, but you know, it's good early because when you play him on turn 3, you can attack with your 1-drop and your 2-drop, and you can tap down their big guy, or on turn 5 or 6.
Maybe if they don't have any big guys, you can do one of them like medium guys.
Yeah, one of their medium guys. So then, like on turn 5 or 6, when they have their big guy out, and you can't attack with some of your little things because that big guy will kill it, you can tap down their big guy,
so
and
they don't have to attack.
So they can't block with it, or they can't attack with it the next turn. What's your next card? So it's a good card. I mean, it's a good limited card, and it's a 2/2. Shorekeeper. What is Shorekeeper? What are you doing? Whoa. Shorekeeper. How much does he cost?
1 blue.
1 blue. He's a 0/3.
So he's a good blocker.
He's a pretty good blocker. He'll slow down, your first couple turns. Like if someone plays this Water Trap Weaver, which is a 2/2 on turn 3, he'll be able to block some guys. He'll be able to block him. He's also got the ability that will never happen. Pay 8 mana, tap him, sacrifice him, and draw 3 cards. Now, granted, as you get later in the game, a 0/3 doesn't make a lot of sense, so being able to draw 3 cards is a benefit. It replaces itself and adds 2 extra cards, but you're paying 8 mana for that. So, what else you got there, big guy? Let's see. And this is what? You got like the exact same cards I did. Contract Killing. This is the black, and 3 generic. Destroy target creature, then you create 2 colorless artifacts that sacrifice for mana. What else did you get? Oh my gosh! Like literally, we got the exact same pack. Really? Cancel. Blue, generic counter target spell. Did you get any more cards that are like mine?
No.
No.
Actually, yes.
You did. You got the vampire too. This is Bishop Soldier. There we go. 2/2 lifelink for 2 mana. What else did you get? Let's see. It's a forest. What else did you get? Come on. What's this? Tempest Caller. All right. That's not a bad card, right? So that's a Merfolk. Tempest Caller is how much does he cost?
2 blue and 2 of anything.
Right. And he's a 2/3, and when he enters the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls. So that's really good, especially late game when your opponent's kind of got a bunch of blockers and you can't attack because he's got all these blockers. You play him for 4 mana and tap down all their guys so he can't block, and then you can swing in for everything. So it's a good finisher card. Definitely a good one. You want to have 2 or 3 of those in your deck to make sure that
I
you
got 2 more cards.
Okay. All right. So you got an artifact, treasure token. Okay. And then last card, another one of these guys. So this is, what is this? Exilia's, I can't say her name. Keeper? Yeah. Exilia's Keeper. How much does Exilia's Keeper cost?
1 green and 1 of anything.
1 green and 1 of anything. Okay. And you pay 1 green and 7 of anything. Tap him, sacrifice him. Target creature gets +5/+5 and trample until end of turn. That's a waste of 8 mana. Yep, that's a pretty big waste. Look through there. What's your favorite card?
Okay. Do this whole thing?
Yep.
Everybody's card?
Yeah, look through there. What card is your favorite? Which card do you like the most, Eli? Out of that pack, if you were opening that pack of cards and you had to build a deck, which card? Oh, okay. I'm surprised. Okay. So you picked the Shorekeeper.
And this too. And this too.
Okay. Sweet. So Shorekeeper, it's not a bad card because it's a good investment early because you play it early and.
Can I trade in this video?
Can you what?
Trade.
Trade? What are you gonna trade? Who are you gonna trade? No, we'll just leave him up there. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about our deck, right? So one of the cards so let me tell you a little bit about how our Friday Night Magic went. My Friday Night Magic. So I went to Friday Night Magic, and what that is it's basically it's not really a tournament. It's you play 4 rounds of Magic, and there's 3 games each, right? So you play 3 games, and it's the best of 3. So if I win 1 and you win 1, we play a third one to see who wins the match. All right. So the first game I played against Red, and Red has this creature called Hezeret the Fervent. It's a god. It costs 1 red, 3 generic. It's indestructible, so it means you can't kill it with cards that say the word destroy. Okay? And it also has haste. So haste means it can attack the turn it comes down. It's not affected by summoning sickness. All right? So it also can't attack.
Because it's a god.
Yep. Why don't you sit up? Because I can't hear you because you're not talking to the microphone. Yeah, because it's a god. It's a red god. So the red creatures most of them have haste, or that's their namesake card, or their main ability. It also can't attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards. So the shtick for this deck was it had a bunch of creatures that cost 1 or 2 mana. So by turn 4, it doesn't have any cards in its hand, or it has 2, and this is one of them. So the whole thing was it beat me to the punch, right? So we were definitely way too slow. So that was a problem. The other problem that we ran across was a blue-black deck that played this god, the Scarab God. Okay? So for 5 mana, you've got 1 blue, 1 black, 3 generic. It's a 5/5. So that's pretty good on its own. 5/5 for 5 is pretty good.
So it's a black and blue deck?
Black and blue deck, absolutely. So this guy says, at the beginning of your upkeep, so at the beginning of your turn, each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. So if you have 3 zombies, your opponent loses 3 life, and you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library, and you get to choose which ones you put on top and which ones you put on bottom. So if you don't like those 3, you can put them all to the bottom, and you can draw new cards. All right? So that's one ability it has. The second ability, you can pay 1 black and 1 blue and 2 generic. You're not in the screen. And you can exile target creature card from a graveyard, and you create a token that's a copy of that card, except that it's a 4/4 zombie. So let's say you had this guy, this 1/1 in your graveyard. Let's say I killed it and it's in your graveyard. I can pay 4 mana, exile it from your graveyard, and now I have a 4/4 copy of that creature. That's a zombie. So now at the beginning of my turn, since it's a zombie, you're going to lose 1 life. Right? Put your hands down. So that in of itself, it works really well together. Now the worst part about this card is it doesn't have indestructible like the red god has, right? But when this creature goes to your graveyard, or when it dies, return to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So at the end of your turn, it goes back to your hand. Right? So that's one of the big problems with our deck, is we don't have a way to answer these gods because they're so powerful. So there's a couple things that I was thinking about doing, and one of them was adding white to the deck, white cards, because there's a white Kajani's Caller is what it's called. Let's see if I can find it. Kajani's Caller is 1 white. It's an 0/3, so a decent blocker early game. So like against the red decks that play the 1 and 2 mana spells, a lot of those creatures are only 1/1s and 1/2s or 2/1s. So they attack into this thing, and this thing can block them just fine. Now what this also does in our deck is it makes our dinosaurs cheaper. So we can play our dinosaurs.
It's like my it's just like
it's
just like that. 3. Just 1 blue mana guy.
1 blue mana guy. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. There's your 1 blue mana guy. Yep, it's one blue mana for 0/3. But in our deck, this is going to stop the red decks from attacking early, and it's going to make our dinosaurs cheaper, so we'll be able to play our bigger guys quicker. Right?
Just like that.
Yeah, it's just like that. So one of the things that I was running into is, since this is 1 blue or 1 white, right? Since this is 1 white, you have to have a plains on turn 1. So without adding a whole bunch of plains to our deck, to our green-red deck for 1 card, I was like, okay, there's got to be another way to get white mana on turn 1, right? So what I've thought about adding, and the other reason why, and I'll kind of talk about this a little bit, is we added 4 copies of Aether Hub. Now this card is a little bit different than what you've played with, because the last set was all about energy, and that's what these little lightning bolts are, right? So those are.
What lightning bolt?
See how it's got a little lightning bolt on it? It says when Aether Hub enters the battlefield, you get, and it's got a little energy symbol, an energy counter. So you can tap this for colorless mana, right? You paying attention?
Yes.
No, you're not. No, you're not. What'd I just say? Exactly. Exactly. This has gone on too long. So the shtick is you can pay 1 energy. So this comes into play. You can pay 1 energy and tap it for any color of mana. So we can tap it for white mana and play our Kajani's Suncaller for white mana. And then from there on out, this is now our tap for colorless mana card. The other reason why this is actually very beneficial to us is because we need green mana on turn 1 as well, because we have a couple other cards like Commune with Dinosaurs, right? Commune with Dinosaurs is 1 green sorcery that lets you search for a let's look at the top 4 or top 5 cards. Right, look at the top 5 cards of your library and reveal a dinosaur or a land card and put it into your hand. So there were times in my games on Friday where I had mountains in my hand and Commune with Dinosaurs, but I couldn't play it because it requires green. So Aether Hub will help solve that problem of having green mana readily available on turn 1. So I didn't make a lot of changes to the deck. We just added Aether Hub for now to kind of smooth out the green mana issue. I'm going to test the deck a little bit this weekend by adding white to it and see how it does. We'll see. I don't know. So what do you think? You're not even listening. You're not even listening. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. You got anything else you want to talk about besides the pile of cards that are all over the table now? No? All right.
Some of my favorite Some of my favorite in that Pokemon deck.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we're going to call that episode 24. Was it turning 24? We are gonna end the podcast there. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/72DPI online, and subscribe. We hit 10 subscribers finally. Yes, the magic double digit 10. That's not 10,000. That's not 10 million.
It's just 10.
It's just 10. So, will you be the 11th subscriber? Head on over to our
Or
YouTube
12th.
or 12th. Yeah, head over to our YouTube page, subscribe, like the channel or like the podcast. Leave us a comment. Do all the cool things, all the fun things.
Big fat thumbs
The
up.
big fat thumbs up. You're right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys.
Goodbye and goodbye and
Oh,
goodbye.
dear Lord.